Saying that racing people of all day. They saying that Shakur Stevenson and Teofemale Lopez is a done deal. You know, they saying it's a done deal. They saying that Teofemale Lopez and Shakur is going to be fighting January 31st at MSG. So it's just going around Twitter. Some people saying this brunch boxing, Chris Minix. It's a rumor. I don't have no inside information on it. And, you know, T.O. probably was dragging his feet, trying to weigh his options, see if he had another options, or also could just be making the fight bigger than what it is, right? So who really knows the host, whatever his aim was. But, I mean, the fight in general is a good fight. Neither one of them is popular, but it's not that many popular fighters no more. When you start talking about superstar fighters, very, very popular fighters that are out here, you know, so they're going to have to sell this fight. Now, that's just the thing about it. They got to sell it. They got to sell it. And do Shakur Stevenson need some PR training to go commercial? Yeah, he dropped the N-word. He too disrespectful. There's a way to be disrespectful, but still, you know, be respectful and still play within the bounds. And until he learned how to do that, and that's the thing about it. Like, you can be that disrespectful, but you got to back it up with action. He don't back it up with enough action. And that's where a lot of the disconnect with him is. Had he fight like he talked, it'd be just fine. But still, to go to that commercial level, you know, he got to clean it up. And, you know, maybe he don't feel like he need to clean it up. Maybe they don't feel like he need a PR team. And I was just thinking, like, y'all had these promoters, Bob, Al, Eddie, Frank, you know what I'm saying? And nobody hired PR to show y'all how to answer questions, how to talk. That just lets you know what Dana White said about boxing a long time. Every show they do is like a bank robbery. It's get as much money and get out of town. Is they not investing into the sport of boxing. They're not reinvesting their time, their money, their resources into their fighters. And if they reinvested something into their fighters instead of extracting money from their fighters and treat them like hoes, I mean, we would be in a different scenario. They have to invest into the sport. They don't even invest into their fighters to be better PR-wise. That way they can bring more advertised-friendly guys to the table. You know? But, I mean, overall, it's good for the sport of boxing. MSG, that might be something that I might think about going to. I wouldn't mind seeing Teofemale and Shakur Stevenson fight. I wouldn't mind seeing. I think it's a good fight. You know, I think T.O. has problems with boxers. They say T.O. is so explosive. He's a great athlete. He's not. That's just because he's an Hispanic. He seems to be more athletic because he's more athletic than the average Hispanic fighter. And you're going to see in this fight that he's not explosive. He's heavy-footed. You know, that's why he struggled with Sandor Martin. This is why he struggled with George Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? He has a problem cutting that distance off. And the biggest problem is that he won't get the fuck out the way. And Eddie Reynoso wasn't the answer. He didn't have the answers neither. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the answers neither. So a lot of these guys, like when you fighting a guy like, when you struggling to cut off the ring versus a guy like Sandor Martin and all that, and he don't have great conditioning either. T.O. is one of those guys that pace himself. So if Shakur can really push the pace, he might can stop him late. But the thing about it is he don't jab enough. Similar to every Hispanic fighter. And it ain't like Hispanics don't have a good jab. David Benavidez jab, when I broke down the film study, I'm like, man, his jab is really, really good. He just don't fucking throw it. So jab is imperative to really close the distance and really freeze the opponent. You notice with Virgil Ortiz, and I'm saying this before he fight Erickson Lubin. So you notice with Virgil Ortiz, you know, he dropped like 7-8 rounds to Madrimov straight because, you know, he wouldn't jab. He was waiting for Madrimov to be stationary and get tired, and then I'm going to pick it up. Guess what, Ninja? If you jabbed, that would have preoccupied Madrimov. You could have steadily, you know, landed a body shot, landed one shot. It would have turned to 2, 3. By the time you would have got to the 4th and 5th round, he would have been a sitting duck, and you probably would have been able to get him out of there. But when you don't use a jab, that allows a guy like him to maneuver, to not have to worry about nothing coming back. When you just throwing lead right hands and lead hooks and you leading, guess what? If you lead, and let's say you do land, that's one shot. You lead again and you miss and you try to lead, you're gonna get clipped. The jab allows a lot of things. The jab allows you to start leading off with shots. He don't know if you're gonna shoot the jab or you're gonna shoot the right hand. The jab is imperative. You know what I'm saying? And had, Virgil came with a consistent jab, he probably would have stopped Madrimov. T.O. had a jab, he probably wouldn't have struggled as much as with Sandor Martin. He wouldn't have struggled with George Kambosos. He wouldn't have to throw those jumping hooks that's gonna get him knocked the fuck out. He think he fucking Ken Ryu. If you learn how to jab. And the jab, yeah, it takes some patience to learn how to jab and break a guy down with the backhand. It takes patience to double the jab up, change the speeds of the jab, feint the jab. They start countering the jab, then you start doing something else. Yes, it's a process, but the jab can take you to the top. You know what I'm saying? So if he ain't gonna jab versus Shakur Stevenson, he gonna get outmaneuvered. You ain't gonna catch Shakur. You ain't gonna have a big opportunity to catch Shakur more than 1 or 2 times because he doesn't open up that way. And T.O. is a better guy. He's better at counter punching. You know what I'm saying? T.O. is, but Shakur don't give you much to counter. He out of there. He scored. He fights like an amateur. He scores and get out of there. And when you don't really have that power like that, you got to make it up with volume. And you got to make it up with clean, effective punches. He does that, but he doesn't have volume. With that hand speed, he always gonna throw 1 or 2 shots and get back in position to defend. He gonna throw 3, 4, 5 shots, shoot, shine, and finish. He ain't gonna do that. So T.O., if he looking to clip Shakur in between shots, man, it's a bad game plan. Now, if he looking to walk him down, you got to throw the jab. If you looking to break him down, you got to throw the jab. However you got to beat him, you got to start with the jab because he ain't going to get better footwork. It ain't going to happen in one camp. He ain't got it. He going to jab. He going to out-jab Shakur Stevenson, and that's what it started with. But it's a good matchup. It's a matchup I look forward to. It's a matchup I wouldn't mind, mobbing out to New York to see it. It's a good time to go to New York. In the wintertime, the Christmas shit would be gone. But yeah, it's a nice little time to do it. But, I just think it's a bad matchup for Teofemale-Lopez. It could be one shot. People say the weight and the Shakur going up and this, that could be an issue, But I don't think it will be. I think he'll be a little bit stronger. He'll be a little bit able to eat, The legs will be a little bit stronger in the game. So, yeah, that's what I think, man. But, I mean, like I said before, that's why they fight the fights. But if he ain't going to get in there and use that jab, pack him up. If he ain't going to get in there and break him down with that jab, double that jab up, come over the top with that jab, touch that body, he ain't going to do none of that, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night. And Shakur just got to be him. And if T.O. started jabbing, I mean, he going to have some issues for sure. Because he going to be able to cut that distance off. But if I'm him, I'm trying to set a wicked pace. Because I know 10, 11, T.O. fighting spurts. T.O. ain't got great conditioning. I'm trying to set a wicked pace. I'm trying to get him to reach with those hooks, and I'm catching him. I ain't worried about loading up. I'm worried about just catching him. He make a lot of mistakes, jumping off his feet, leading with hooks, not jabbing. He make a lot of mistakes. He's at his best when he fighting guys that come to him. And the reason those guys that come to him lose to him, because he's a great counterpuncher, but they don't throw a jab. So, hopefully at some point, he figure it out. At some point, he figure it out. But some of these guys, they don't figure it out. You fight a power puncher, a jab can be the difference. The jab, it controls the distance. It controls your target. It's like a layup. I know I could touch him with this jab. Maybe I could touch him with this left hook. I could touch him with this right hand. I could touch him with 2, 3, 4 shots. But without that, how you measure the distance? You gonna measure it with lead right hands and left hooks? You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't Roy Jones. You know? So, you know, if I'm Shakur Stevenson and I'm jabbing my ass off. Because I know this joker don't like the jab. Hispanics, that's why Hispanics, one of the reasons they stay losing to black fighters. You don't jab. And them Eastern Europeans, they figuring this shit out. Even though they hiring Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather to come over and show them how to fight. You know what I'm saying? To show them how to fight, even, you know, they showing them how to fight, you know, they learning. They learning, you know, but ultimately I'm excited for the fight, to be honest with you. You know, like I said, I heavily favor Shakur Stevenson in this fight for boxing reasons only. I don't like neither one of them. But, you know, I fuck with Shakur on this one. So I think Shakur, you know, as long as he don't get caught, it should be a masterclass performance. So hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch. Check out the Box Room playlist. Peace.